It might be a horrible rainy day outside, but inside it's a lovely day. Oh yes, I've got myself a lathe. So for about the past year I've been looking for one of these, and I've been patient, and finally an opportunity came, and I went and picked it up today. But the great thing is, I was looking at this exact model, but it's sold by Axminster, and I was going to buy it. I was about to press the button, and then they didn't ship to Northern Ireland, which is quite a big bugger. So that was the end of that, and that was about 6 months ago. Now here I am at half the price with all the stuff. Absolute bargain. So this exact lathe is made, or sold at least, by about 6 companies. There's Axminster, Charnwood, S.I.P, other ones that all sell it, and it's basically Draper. They all do the same thing, but it's just a different coat of paint and some other odd features. So this is the S.I.P 01490, and the way I bought it, it came as such, and it comes with cast iron legs. Now that's one of the biggest differences I can see, is that the Axminster came with stamped sheet metal legs, but these are cast iron and these are heavy, which means they're sturdy. Now I bought the lathe and it came with a few extra things, the first and foremost being the 4-jaw chuck, which is an absolute beauty because it's an extra aftermarket product and it costs like nearly an extra £100, which is kind of mental, but this is banging because I got it for free. The other thing is, I only actually have one lathe chisel, and I bought this last year, and it's a big rough and gouge, lovely old vintage piece, and it's an absolute beast, and I used it for turning the wheels on my wooden bandsaw, but I don't have any other chisels. However, I got a whole set with the lathe. Now, this is just an absolute bargain. I am loving this. Now, from this encounter, the only thing I can find wrong with it is it didn't come with the spur center, which is really weird because that's like the #1 thing you use for turning. You use the spur center, the face plate, the 4-jaw chuck, and you use those 3, the #1 being the spur point. But for some reason it just didn't come with a spur point, which is fine, completely fine, because it is the cheapest piece to buy to add, because this bad boy is way expensive. Now, I've been working outside doing other stuff for the past week, and so my workshop is in an absolute state, but my hope is to put the lathe in this corner, and this is currently where I have my strip sander and all this mess, so I need to clear this, or more likely just dump it somewhere else, and then I can set this over there to stick the legs on the lathe and put it in that corner. And I took most of that stuff and put it there, and the rest is floating about, but I just need to do a big spring clean and that'll be good. So the lathe's all set up, ready to go, and I'm quite anxious to get something made. I just really want to try it, you know, work out, get the feel. I've never used a wood lathe before. The only turning I've done was the plywood wheels from a bandsaw, and I've used a metal lathe, but it's kind of different. So I've just got a chunk here, gonna cut a bit and just turn it away, and I don't know, just try it all, you know. So I've cut the bit to length and I have it in the 4-jaw chuck. I can just stick this on now, one-handed. So I've got my big rough and gouge, and I think I'm going to try and make a goblet of sorts, or like a cup. I don't know. I just want to get at it. Whoa! That's easy. Literally, that is amazing. So much power. Anyway, yeah, I know you're supposed to like round off the corners to like make it easier and stuff, but I just want to do it. I want to learn things my own way. You know, the best way to learn is to do it wrong. So, yeah. This way. I've been working away, but I mustn't have put it on perfectly well because there's still a bit of a flat spot. There's still a bit of a flat spot on it here, but I thought I'd like to try the new chisels and see what they're good at. So here we go. Finally all round, and I'm realising now a goblet was probably a bit adventurous, so I'm just going to go for a wee pencil pot instead. And got the still on the new chisels, they're working alright, so I'm going to smooth her out and then I can start boring her out. With it all round, I can smooth it up a bit, but I just need to turn down the RPM. Is that the slowest? Oh, there we go. There we go. Give her a sand. Lovely, lovely. Now that she's all lovely sanded and smooth, I can add some accentuating details with the new other types of chisels. It's easier, as far as I can tell, to sand the whole thing, add the details, and then sand the details, and instead of trying to sand the whole thing after the details are done. Got a slight bit of an issue. It looks great. This edge looks nice and flat, but when I run it, there's a bit of a wobble to it. So I need to somehow flatten it, but I don't think it's strong enough that if I take out the tailstock, it'll hold itself. So I'm not sure what to do. So what I'm going to try and do is flatten it on the bottom, and then there'll be a wee nub left in the centre, and then I can just cut that off afterwards. Just chisel away at the end, but this is end grain, and I don't know how it's going to take it, so I'm interested to find out. Oh yeah, I need to amp up the speed a bit. There we go. So I've got a mostly flat edge, well a flat edge round there, and then a wee nipple bit in the middle, but that's alright. And I need to take it off this end now, and then I can just flip it around. There we go. See, it just stubs out a bit. This is just a convenient way to drill out the stub on the top here. Mightn't look the best on the bottom, but sure I can sand it. Now I just need to chop off and drill out, or lathe out, I don't know, let's see. I also have this chuck set for smaller things, and I'm going to use this thing with these here ones, and these will push in and grasp around the outside of the cup, because I think what's on it currently is a. But one thing that amazes me is just the machining of this is just amazing. So look, if I twist this way, that's alright, and twist this, oh look at that, it just expands out. So you can put something inside and expand it in, which is what I'm going to do using these big ones, or you can have a hole, put this in and then expand it out. But yeah, just, oh, it's just amazing. Just seeing it all slide together. Very nice. And after all that, doesn't fit. It's ever so slightly too big. Also, this one you have to manually center compared to the other one which centers itself. Now this probably isn't the way you're supposed to do it, but this is on the lowest RPM and I need to cut it off, so by just get my hand on. so much easier if this was a Japanese saw, not a European. Try it this way. And now I've got the line. Should be nice and easy to follow. There we go. And if I run this, it should be nice and smooth. Yeah, pretty good. So I'm going to sand it again, but the very interesting thing is, before I was sanding it in one particular direction, and so it was smooth when going in that direction, but if you went in the other direction, it was really rough. And this is non-reversible, but I have reversed the piece. So now when I sand this, I get a really, really, really smooth finish. Now this is where it gets really interesting, because this is end grain, and so far I've been cutting side grain the whole time, and I haven't done any end grain. So if I turn her on, whiz her up a bit, let's see how well end grain cuts. Some strong vibrations. Whoops! Stuck her back on, rebalanced her, tightened her as hard as she could. Now, hopefully she just stays on. Now, I know this isn't how you usually make something like this. Usually you do stack, 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 and you glue a whole bunch of bits together so that when you're going this way into a plate or bowl, you're not going into end grain. But it just isn't cutting at all. Not like my tools are dull or anything like they've done on all of this. So I'm going to take it and just drill it out with a Forstner bit, which again I know isn't going to work that well because I've done it before and it takes ages, but I want a hole in there, so let's do that. And I know you can get chucks that go in your lathe on the tailstock and you just push it in and get it perfectly centered, but this is free. I already have this, so yeah. There we go, pot all done, and first lathe project all done. I kind of cut out the drilling footage because it took me 20 minutes. Oh my goodness. One of the few times I regret being a cheapskate. These bits, especially the big ones, are just absolutely rubbish. But anyway, I'm not actually going to buy any good ones because that would be expensive. But anyway, yes, there we go. A lovely first lathe project done. And I must say, it looks pretty good. Nice and scrappish, considering there's a hole that you can see through. And while I was at it, I turned a nice wee knob. So yeah, first project done. In making that knob, I used this 4-jaw chuck and I put the knob in and then put the knob in and closed it down. And it was good to use that. But again, the same issue I've noticed, probably just because I'm turning small things, but with that 4-jaw chuck and with this one, the problem is you can't get close to the end of the piece. So that's the wee bit from the knob, and you have that much distance. That's how much was wasted, and I couldn't use that. And then on the big one as well, that much distance, and I suppose that's why you need a 4-prong center, because it sits in at the back and is nice and small, so you can turn clean away, get a whole length. But with the jaws, you just have to have a bit of waste at the end, which is just annoying, yeah, pretty much. So far, haven't had any issues with power, but that was to be expected because I was only turning stuff this size and like that diameter, so I would not expect. But the speed, so this is it on its slowest speed, and it's kind of fast. I think it's fast because when you're sanding, it seems kind of fast. And I've seen ones that can go like 10 RPM, and that seems really useful for like drawing and marking lines and stuff. But I can deal with that being the slowest. But I was using it at about speed 5-6, which is about there, and that's perfect. But it goes up to 10. Now, I have no clue what anyone would use these upper speeds for. I suppose if you're turning something like a bowl, maybe this size, you need all that power and RPM, but for me at the moment, it just seems kind of overkill, and I feel like I would kind of swap it out for slower speeds if I could, but yeah, it's just something I've noticed, but I've only been using it for a day, so I can't give any definite ideas or thoughts. Final thing, the chisels. Oh, I haven't had any issues with these, except They don't sit anywhere. I can't set them here, they'll fall off. This nice big fat one is great because it can sit in, but I need to make something to put these. And you'd think, oh, you just do a hole and slot them in. Well, no, because this stupid chisel is basically the width of the... No, not that one. This one is wider than the handle, so I can't put it in a hole because it would be the size of the hole and just fall clean through. So I need to come up with something. But all in a day's work. So there we go. Those are my first impressions of the S.I.P 01490, and it's a 550 watt motor? Yeah, 550 watt, 3/4 horsepower. Seems to be enough power. I don't know, I haven't had any issues, but yes, I love it. It's a great machine. Only one day in and I'm already loving it. Very therapeutic, lovely, just lovely to do, work at. It's so smooth and calming, but everyone always says that. Also, I'm wearing a big white apron because dust falls off an apron and doesn't stick to it. Also, I probably should wear a face shield, but it would just steam up at me, considering after on my very first piece, a piece exploded at me, but it wasn't that jarring. So thanks for watching. Because I just got this lathe, I will probably be doing a lot of lathe projects because I have so many things I've built up that I want to make, but I couldn't make until I got a lathe. So I'll probably do a whole bunch of lathe videos for like the next 2 months or something, but I'll slip in the odd one that isn't a lathe project until I get bored of this thing, which will probably be a while because it is amazing and I love it.